So now I want to make sure that this all flows correctly. So if I preview a little bit by clicking present here, I'm going to back it up kind of to where we started. Go back up to our top slide, kind of see it from the start. So we can see that we're going to start off in this middle here. And then we zoom in, we go to the cells, and then it kind of jumps over to that, but then it's going to jump way over to the next one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to edit the path. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And you can see that going from, let's go over here a little bit. So going from my cell, it's going to go to here, but it's going to jump from 4 all the way to 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this little plus sign and bring it over, and notice how it just highlighted my circle there. That's going to bring it from this slide to the information about it, back to this slide to kind of remind us where we are, and then it's going to progress to this. And you'll notice it kind of duplicated my slide right there, so now we see it before and after. So kind of a cool little trick. So now if I go back and click our present, we'll see that we zoom in. We're going to head to our cells. We're going to pop over to there. We're going to pop back to the cells. And then we go on to trait number 2, which maybe we say contains genetic information. One or two other things to maybe note. If I go back to here, I kind of would like these things to be connected. So I'm going to insert a line between the two. And so that way you can kind of tell what's happening there. And of course, you could make several of these bracket frames with more information. You could put hyperlinks. You could put additional pictures. You could pull in some web pages. The options are really endless. Now at the end, I'm going to go to our final characteristic. That may be characteristic number 8. I am going to add a rectangle this time, kind of off to the bottom here. And I made it a little bit different because I want this to be our references. And so here's where I'd go through and I'd go back to this slide. And that way I can show where some of my resources came from. So for example, I would say Blue Dragon, and then I could do the pasting of the link. And of course, you can make things a whole lot smaller so that it will actually fit into the grand scheme of your design. And you can play around with those features as well and kind of help to make sure it all fits nice and neat onto this particular slide. And then of course, that will show up at the end here if we kind of present. So this would be trait number 8, and then nicely it will zoom into our references at the end of the presentation. So when you're all done, you've got everything edited and in place, and you're showing your characteristics of life, you can play around with some of the options up here. You can decide the best way to view it, and you can download it as a PDF and things like that. You can share your Prezi. Most likely you'll have to share the Prezi, and while you can't embed a Prezi on that Google Doc, What is Life, you could copy the link. Just make sure that I have permission to actually view it. So double check those settings. So I hope that this helped. If you have questions along the way, don't hesitate to ask me or one of your classmates, and good luck as you get creative.